164th Civil District Court, and her name is Cheryl Elliott Thornton. And let me tell you a little bit about Cheryl. How are you? You're muted, of course.
There I am.
It has to be that way. Everybody has to start out muted. So, Cheryl, now I understand you pronounce Cheryl. Is that right?
Right. Correct.
All right. You have served, and I don't want to go over some things because I want to leave you to talk about some of these things, but these are not parts of my questions specifically. So you have served as a senior assistant county attorney for Harris County. You've been general counsel for TSU, right?
Correct.
Go Tigers. You have been an assistant attorney general for the state of Texas.
Correct.
I've also taught at Lone Star College and Houston Community College. You outside of your work, you've been a precinct, or you are or have been a precinct chair for Precinct 228, the co-chair of the HBA's Gender Fairness Committee, and I'm on that committee with you.
Right.
In fact, I think I just got an email from you earlier about a meeting coming up. And then you've been awarded the 2018 Top 50 Black Professionals and Entrepreneurs of Texas Award, as well as the HBA's President's Award and the Alex Award for Legal Excellence. Well, if Alex will vouch for you, then I think you're in good shape. I'm not sure who Alex is, but maybe we'll find out. So, thank you, welcome. You're running for the 164th Civil District Court. It's lovely to be with you as always. And so let's get right into the questions, okay?
Okay, and I'll just say Alex is actually NAACP's award. So
I've betrayed my ignorance once again.
That's okay.
Not the first time, not the last time. So, okay, let's get right into the questions. We only have about 15 minutes,
Okay.
and I've got 5 questions. So if you would keep your answers relatively concise, that will enable me to get all my questions. So the first one is a nice, easy one. Where did you grow up? It's a multi-part question, but where did you grow up?
I actually grew up, I'm a native Houstonian. So I grew up here in Houston, in 3rd Ward, Houston. I still reside in 3rd Ward. So I am just a product of the city and a proud product.
Very good. Native Houstonian. And then where did you go to high school, college?
I went to high school at Lamar High School. I won't say the year I graduated. And went to undergrad at Trinity University in San Antonio and got my master's from St. Mary's University in San Antonio and received my JD from TSU.
Okay, I was going to ask that next. What was your undergraduate and master's in?
Political science, both ways. So I've just been carving out this path for myself forever.
Did you go right to law school after you got your master's?
I did.
What was the sequence?
I went straight from high school to undergrad, straight from undergrad to grad, straight from grad to law school. So,
all right, good. And all right, so then so you went to TSU, so how long have you been in practice?
I have been in practice for about 33 years. So I've been practicing for quite a while.
And okay, now here we have a couple minutes for you to stretch out. Would you walk us through your practice, if you would, private, public, government? I read some of those things. Tell us about the different jobs you've had and the types of cases you've handled.
Sure. As you noted, I'm a senior assistant county attorney for Harris County currently, and I've served in that capacity for about 10 years. I have been an administrative law judge for Workforce Commission, hearing cases and making decisions in reference to that. I served on that for about 4 to 5 years. Then I've been an assistant attorney general for the state of Texas, in which I served as an administrative law judge for crime victims, which was quite exciting. Then it was time to come back to Houston. So then I actually served in the capacity of Assistant Attorney General for Consumer Protection Division. And I should back up and say in my capacity as a Senior Assistant County Attorney, I currently serve as an attorney that does a lot of the PI cases for Harris County. So I'm on the defense side, if you will, for personal injury cases. I've also served in terms of working as an adjunct professor, as you said, for Lone Star,
right.
As well as Houston Community College, and doing that, of course, teaching political science. And I have to say, one of the times in which I actually taught was during an exciting time, and that's when Obama was running for president. So that made it very exciting and invigorating, especially teaching at that time a lot of very conservative students. So it was very interesting.
I remember, I'll never forget, I'm sure none of our viewers will forget the night that he won the Iowa caucuses.
Oh, yeah.
And that electric shock that went through the country and through each of us individually, I'm sure was something we'll cherish and never forget.
Yes, for sure. It convinced so many individuals, and I shall say, especially a lot of African Americans, that he actually had the ability to win the presidency.
Right.
So all that's exciting. I've also been in private practice, and in private practice, I've gone the gamut from, started off actually doing two things, which I don't do currently, and that is EEOC work, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. I wanted to do that, as well as trying to do criminal work. I did criminal in order, because let's face it, you can get your feet wet very quickly when you do criminal work. So it taught me a lot, and I had a very varied resume, as well as the resume that includes a lot of civil service.
All right, so we're gonna now we're running short on time, so let me get through these next few questions. Would you briefly describe why you're running for this particular bench?
Sure. One of the reasons I'm running is because I've had the experience to run before, and to be honest, I was approached by several public officials, including a couple of judges, and asked to run for the bench. They saw that my integrity, my professionalism, and thought that I would be right for this bench at this time, considering it needed a slight overhaul in terms of its image.
All right, and do you feel like this bench, this particular type of court, matches the skill set that you've developed in your 33 years of practice?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
So, okay, so you've been in front of a lot of judges.
Yes.
I think, including me, I believe. Yes. And so please use caution and discretion. But the question is, what are things that you've seen in court that judges have done, or experiences you've had, that you think as a judge you would like to do differently, whether procedures or conduct or whatever it is, that you think you would approach differently than perhaps you've seen in other courts? Sure.
Well, it does not at all apply to you. But one of the problems I've seen in courts is sometimes the disrespect that a judge will have for the attorneys or the people that are before them. And my belief is, no matter what the outcome of a situation is, at least show respect, listen to both sides, give people the impression that their case has been heard, and that no matter what the outcome will be, that there will be a sense of fairness.
And then the converse of that, are there things that you've seen, again, leave me out, things that you've seen judges do that you would emulate, that you might try to incorporate into your own courtroom?
Well, I've actually seen just what I said, but from the positive standpoint. But I've also seen where judges will be well read before they get on the bench. so they know what's coming before them, can ask intelligent questions of the attorneys, and then be able to make a speedy ruling in terms of the case.
Yes, I mean that is really important. Is being able to rule. One of the first things in new judge school that you may get to experience is the lesson in day one is rule and run. Yeah. Make a ruling. It doesn't do any good to chew on it forever. Your job is to move the cases along, and you collect the best information you can and make a ruling, and so that they can evaluate their case and figure out what to do next. Right. Now, last question. Do you feel, and based on everything you've seen, do you feel like you have the right temperament to be judge, to deal with the rigors of making decisions, what I call dealing with the decision variables and decision fatigue at the end of a long day, and keeping your composure and being able to move your docket along and maintain a good relationship with the bar, while at the same time, let's face it, every time someone comes in front of you, you're likely to make one side or the other unhappy.
Right.
So the question is about temperament. If you feel like you have the right temperament to be a judge, tell us why.
You know, I do feel as though I have the right temperament to be a judge, and part of that is, to be quite candid, maturity. You know, as you go along in life, you understand the ability to listen. You understand.
I'm really... sorry, I tuned you out there for a second. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you also respect the ability to take a joke, and you literally present to others what you would like if you were on the other side. So I know that I have the temperament. I am ready to serve, and I hope that the great people of Harris County will give me the opportunity to serve.
You know, we have a little extra time here. Do you mind visiting with us a little longer?
No, I don't mind.
All right. So, what did you find when you transitioned from working in the government positions in the Harris County and the Attorney General, when you went into private practice? Tell us about that transition. What you experienced, and having seen both the governmental side and the private side, how does that prepare you for a job as a judge?
Well, you know, it's funny, and on the private side, I think you have a tendency to work harder, mainly because you have no choice. You're trying to build those hours, you're trying to get it done to make sure that everything moves along swiftly so that you can get to the next project that you can build, etc. And the government side is a little bit more relaxed. I'd like to bring some of that private fervor to the government side, just so that you can kind of move the docket along without causing any problems or intimidating. But I think it gives me a great balance of how I can actually better serve the community.
So our last candidate, who was running for one of the criminal benches, mentioned that since Harvey, I think she's worked in the prosecutor's office and in the public defender's office, mm-hmm. And she's running for the 339th Tiaga Bell. Talked about how we have sort of been on top of each other in the with the criminal courts in the civil building. Right. Have you dealt with, so one of the things that I want to talk about at the conclusion of these interviews, they've given me a few minutes to speak as well, is about that experience and then what we're doing now in light of the pandemic. So we just have about 30 seconds left. Have you been involved, have you seen what it's been like down at the courthouse with sharing courtrooms and, yes. and our inability to move stuff along?
Yes, I have. I've had the pleasure, but you do what you have to do. And I think, and I applaud the judges for being able to work together, share offices, because it's not exactly what you bargained for, right. But you literally have to just go with the punches there. And I think under the circumstances that the courts have done a very good job And I understand that the criminal courts are now back open, so that will ease up considerably.
That's right. All right. Well, Cheryl Elliott Thornton, it's very nice to see you again, as always. And you're running for the 164th Civil District Court. And you'd be, I think, one floor up from where I am. And I want to wish you good luck in this July 14th Harris County Democratic runoff election, primary runoff election.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to do this this evening. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I've learned a lot as well. It's nice. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.